Okay, what's up, guys? Mr. Villa with the new chapter, which is chapter 5, ratios and rates. Today we're going to focus on ratios only. So we're going to check this out. Key idea of what a ratio is. So as you can see here, so the ratio is a comparison of two quantities. That's what we're going to focus on, is that it's a comparison of two quantities. Ratios can be part to whole, or whole to part comparison. So for example, 2 red crayons to 6 blue crayons. That's probably the most you're going to see. That's the most common one you're going to see, is like 2 red to 6 blue crayons, stuff like that. 1 red crayon for every 3 blue crayons. That's another way of showing a ratio. 3 blue crayons per 1 red crayon, 3 blue crayons for each red crayon, etc. So you can make a lot of different ratios out of those 8 crayons that you see to the right there. And the ratio of A to B can be written as A colon, which is those 2 dots, B. You can also write it as a fraction as well, as A over B. So A over B like that. That's how ratios can be written as well. So let's look at this example here. You have the coins shown, right? The ratio of pennies to quarters. So again, it's the order matters. So it's pennies to quarters. So you have how many pennies do you have? Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 pennies, 2. So the word 2 is going to be the colon. How many quarters do you have? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 quarters. So the ratios of pennies to quarters is 6 to 7. That's how you would write that, 6 to 7. And then write the ratio of quarters to dimes. So let's see, we already know that there are 7 quarters, right? So you don't have to read it again. So 7 quarters to, how many dimes do we have here? So 1, 2, 3. We have 3 dimes. So 7 to 3. Okay? And then remember I said you could write it as a fraction. 7 over 3 is also possible. 6 over 7 is also possible. But you do not make it into 2 and 1/3. You do not do that. So do not do that, because a ratio, remember, as I said before, is a comparison of two quantities, right? So 7 quarters to 3 dimes. Even though you can write it as a fraction, you don't make it a mixed number, because that doesn't make sense. It's not 2 and 1/3, 2 and 1/4 to 3 dimes or something like that. Just doesn't make sense. So a ratio is written as 2 numbers, like a number and then a colon, or a fraction. So, and the order does matter, because when you say it, 7 to 3, that means 7 of the first thing you said to 3 of the second thing you said. And write the ratio of dimes to total number of coins. So we already know how many dimes we have. We have 3 dimes, 2, and you just count how many total coins you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have 3 to 16. And here we go. The ratio of your monthly allowance to your friend's monthly allowance is 5 to 3. The monthly allowance is total $40. How much is each allowance? Okay, how would you do that? So it's 5 to 3, right? So one of the cool ways of tackling this type of problem is to make a bar model. So I'm going to make a bar model here. So 5 to 3. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can make a box there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's pretend that's even. To 3. Pretend that's even. 1, 2. Okay, so we can agree this is 5 to 3, right? This is 5 to 3. So this is yours. This is your friend. Okay, 5 to 3. The monthly allowance is total $40. So all of these together is $40. And so the question is asking, how much is each allowance? So if it's a ratio of 5 to 3, 5 to 3, so if all of this together equal 40, how much do each of these boxes, how much are each of the boxes worth? So if you can see here, there are 8 boxes. So if I do 40 divided by 8, that means 5. That doesn't mean $5 is your allowance or your friend's allowance. That means each of these boxes is worth 5, which makes sense, because 5, we'll see here, right? So if you add all that up, 5 plus 5, etc., you get $40. So now, that's $5 times how many boxes you have? Well, you have 5. So your monthly allowance is $25. That's pretty nice. And then your friend, it's $5 for each box, and he only has 3 boxes though. So your friend gets $15 in allowance. And you can check if that makes sense. 25 plus 15 is $40. So that makes sense. That's this together gives you the 40 that you had earlier. And here's another ratio problem. And again, a lot of these ratio problems, you're going to be using a bar modeling. They might call it something else, like tape diagram or something, but I'll just call it bar modeling from myself. So it says you separate 42 bulbs of garlic into 2 groups. Let's see, 42 bulbs into 2 groups, one for planting and one for cooking. You'll plant 3 bulbs for every 4 bulbs that you will use for cooking. Each bulb has about 8 cloves. Okay, so that's a lot of information here. So let's start to think about what's happening. How many cloves will you plant? Okay, so there's 2 groups. You will plant 3 bulbs for every 4 bulbs that you will use for cooking. So planting is 3. So I'm going to say plant. You're going to have 3 bulbs. And cooking, you will have 4 bulbs. So let's use this bar diagram that I was talking about earlier. And then this will be 4. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so 3 to plant for every 4 used for cooking, right? You separate 42 bulbs of garlic, so all of this together will be 42. Okay, fair enough. Each bulb has about 8 cloves. How many cloves will you plant? So let's figure out how much each of the boxes are worth, right? So right now, this information, that's not going to be used yet. I want to know how many bulbs are you going to plant versus how many bulbs are you going to use for cooking, okay? So if we have 42, let's divide that by how many boxes we have. How many boxes do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 42 divided by 7 is 6. So that means each of these boxes are worth 6. All right. So for planting, I have 3 times 6, so I have 18. So this is 18 bulbs. And for cooking, I have 4. So 3 times 4, whoops, sorry. I have 4, so 4 times 6, that's going to be 24 bulbs. Okay, so let's see. About how many cloves will you plant? So I didn't even have to do the 24 bulbs one, but that's okay. So right now it says I have 18 bulbs. Each bulb has about 8 cloves. All right, so we're taking this even further now. So 18 bulbs, 8 cloves. So 18 times 8 cloves, you have that, 144. And let's see, cloves. So you will plant about 144 cloves. Okay, how about an extra example here? You separate 72 walnuts into 2 groups. So 72 walnuts into 2 groups, okay. One for snacks, you're getting, hopefully you're seeing a pattern here, and one for baking. Okay, 2 groups. You'll keep 3 walnuts as snacks, okay. So I'm gonna just make my bar right now. So 3 for snacks. And every 5 walnuts that you'll use, every 5 walnuts that you will use is for baking. So I'm going to make 5. There are 72 walnuts total. This is 72. Okay, so let's see. How do I find out how much each box is worth? I do 72 divided by 8, which equals 9. That means each of these boxes are worth 9. All right. Each walnut has 2 pieces. That's nice. How many walnut pieces will you keep for snacks? So now I'm going to ignore the baking part. Snacks. So snacks, I have 9 times 3. So 27 walnuts are going to go for snacks because there are 3 boxes there, and each of those boxes are worth 9. So 3 times 9 is 27. Each walnut has 2 pieces. So 27 times 2. Right? So I have 54. So how many walnut pieces will you keep for snacks? 54 pieces will be for snacks. And now we also have this, use the table to write the ratio, explain what the ratio means. So cat to dog, we have 9 to 12. We can do 9 to 12, that means 9 cats to every 12 dogs. Fish to dogs, 17 to 12, so 17 fish for every 12 dogs. Bird to fish, we have 5 birds for every 17 fish. And cat to all animals sold, so how many cats are there? There's 9 cats. And let's see, so cats to animals are 9 to 43. I also wanted you to notice one other thing is right here, 9 to 12. So 9 to 12, I did say, remember before I said you could write that as a fraction. So 9 to 12, you can actually rewrite that and simplify it because 3 goes into 9 and 12, right? So that's the same as 3 to 4. So I can also say there are 3 cats for every 4 dogs, but we'll go into more of that later on. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful. I might be adding more stuff to this lesson on ratios, but for now, I'll see you next time.